All right? So please help me welcome my friends, Mark and David, with Merge.
Thank you. So we're not going to really go off these slides, so we're just going to talk for 6 minutes about Merge and why we're excited and where the vision came from, and most importantly, how much we want you to be involved. So it says building communities. That's what this project is really all about. So the idea came from looking at some of the things in this region that we enjoy in terms of low density, and you don't need to change whoever changed the slide. They won't make any sense with what I'm about to say. So, one thing that we really realize is that the population density here is really low, which means you don't have long commutes, and it's easy to go to a restaurant on Friday night without having to stand in line for 2 hours, which is a good thing. But it's not as good when it comes to having a vital, vibrant startup community, because if the density is low, the probability you're going to run into somebody that's very different than you that can really help you with your startup is lower as well. The other thing we realized is that the diversity of people can be lower here than in some regions of the country. So people tend to be more homogeneous. They've lived here a long time. Not as many ideas are coming in. So we thought, how can you create a space where you bring all these diverse people under one roof that run into each other, and just by serendipity, you find somebody that really knows how to help your company or your startup move forward. So the idea is you need to put it somewhere where there's a lot of people already congregating. So the idea was, well, if you get it there, which is pretty close to here, there's a lot of foot traffic. There's people that come down for the library. They come down for bread garden and to eat in the restaurants, and they come down for the bars. So you make it convenient, and then you bring all kinds of people together. So you merge together coders, people that want to start companies, students, technical students, like double E's, engineers, but you also bring, like our last speaker, what's really critical is you bring creative people. Because if you think about the companies in Silicon Valley, most of those, believe it or not, are led by people in the fine arts and humanities. They aren't all technical people. So we have strong creative influence in the town. How do you get creative people working with technical people? Because some of the best companies in the world follow that model. It's not all engineers and scientists, and it's also not all writers and artists. How do you get them together? That's what we want to do here. So I'll tell you a story, and then I'll turn this over to Mark. Why is that so important? So when I was in my late 20s, I moved to LA, and I was in decent shape. We're living on the East Coast, but I joined a gym in Los Angeles, and the first day I got there, I opened the door, and the bass the music was so loud, I could feel it at the desk, even before I joined. There were 500 people, busting their ass, working out, sweat. It was incredible. I'd never seen that on that scale of so many people working that hard. So for me, it really motivated me. I mean, you're not going to stand there and talk to somebody when everybody's working out that hard and the music's that loud. There's something that happens when you get that many people in really close proximity and they're all doing the same thing. It's easier for you. I mean, when I lived on the East Coast, it's easier to work till 10 o'clock every night and get home that late when everybody you know is doing it. But if you're the only one that tries to do that, it takes a lot of self-discipline. The other thing is, even more practical, so I was paying $50 a month for the gym where I lived in a low-density area. It was $15 a month in LA. Because if you have that many customers, if there's 500 people in there, and that's a very small fraction, you don't have to charge so much. So from a business sustainability perspective, you need a lot of customers. You see it here in this area, right? People need to own 6 restaurants because they can't get enough profit from maybe one, because you're limited in the number of people you can serve, which usually means you have to charge more money. So we need all of you, and a good million more. I really need 1 million cups. And then nobody has to pay much. Everybody's super psyched because we're all there, running into each other, bumping into ideas. and the business model works, and everybody can afford it, and great things happen because people start sharing their ideas. So I'm gonna let Mark give whatever he wants to talk about, but my pitch is not to you for money. My pitch is to you to the extent that you think you don't belong there, to that same extent we believe and want you to be there. We want diversity. We want people with all kinds of backgrounds. So my pitch is go there, hang out there. We'll do everything we can to make it preferable to sitting at home or watching TV or doing anything else besides being there.
I should just do the mic drop for you. It's hard to follow that. But you're spot on. I mean, so a lot of you have heard this spiel before, but economic development used to be about bringing companies here and that would work. And now really the secret sauce for any community to be globally relevant is keep you guys. You are what every community, every city in the nation is looking for, young creative minds, and Iowa has been exporting them in droves for years. We've got to stop that, and so it took a lot for us to convince our board at ICAD that we should start the CoLabs. And because of that, we had to kind of bootstrap. When we started the one over on Court Street, because it was space we could find and we couldn't afford to do a lot to it. And it's been great the last 3 years, but that space, it's not the right clubhouse for this community, right? All the work that's been done to build this vibrant community, and then you go to that space and it's like, whoa, you know, office-y, it's 3 blocks off the beaten path, no one knows it's there. We've had more people walk in since we've been camped out at Merge in the last 2 weeks. And you know, people, oh, I just moved here from Austin, and you know, I expect this there. I didn't expect it here. So that's what we're trying to do, is put all these resources, and Merge is an apt name because traditionally what we've done is, well, the community would go and we'll have this space, and then you, university, you go have that space, and never the two shall meet, and we don't believe in that. It's like, why do we perpetuate this silo thinking? And so we're like, if you got this great idea, and we've got this, let's do it together. And it's been phenomenal so far, and we haven't even gotten started yet. So we're in the old wedge space. Underneath that, there's 8,900 square feet of office space that the UIHC used to train people how to use Epic, which is the software that hospitals run. So that was underneath. So there's this giant cavern of office space underneath that we're going to turn into, there's these giant offices, we're going to break those up into smaller ones. So we should have about 18, 19 rentable offices for startups down there, in addition to ICAD having space down there. And then in the building, we're finalizing the layout where everything's going to be right now, but these guys just got a grant last week from the state for 3D printing, prototyping equipment, CNC milling, very specialized, high resolution stuff. So if you come in with an idea on the back of a napkin, you're going to be able to hand it to Chuck over there, who's going to be able to put it into AutoCAD, and then then you're going to work with Neil, and Neil's going to take that drawing, and so we're going to be able to really quickly take great ideas and turn them into viable companies, and that's really the special sauce. And everyone has, just like 1 Million Cups works, right? You all have a piece of the secret to someone else's success, and if we can build the right kind of clubhouse where you're all continually bumping into each other and building on each other's ideas, that's how we're really going to move the dial. So we're excited. We're going to go, the whole thing's about 13,000 square feet on 2 floors. We've got some great designs, so we're just camped out in there. We had to get out of the old CoLab. Our lease was up over there. Our hope was that all the construction would have been done by now and we'd just be in this bright, shiny new building, but it's not the case. So we're kind of camped out in there with the people that moved over from the CoLab until we can finalize some things with the federal government to get our money to do the renovations. But it's going to be awesome. It's currently very cool. It's very bootstrappy and startup-y. We've got internet. We've got coffee. The 2 basics for this. So we invite you just to come in, check out the space, use the space, and then just know that at some point we're going to push everyone out, we're going to do some remodeling, and then it's going to open up hopefully as soon as we can, and it's going to be super cool. But that's the vision, but it's really building the clubhouse that this startup community deserves in the right way. So with that, we'll take any questions.